Hello, you guys. Welcome to my stream. Um, to my message of the week stream. I know I said I was gonna take a break. I am still taking a break, but this I wanted to say on my live stream is on this stream. Um, I'm taking a break mostly because um I'm not in the right mindset for a lot of things at this moment. It's nothing to do with streamers or anything like. It's not because of me streaming too much and I just don't know what to do most of the time. It's nothing to do with that. It's mostly to do where I had to deal with something in my personal life that I needed to, or that I tried to fix. Um, at the start, I didn't want to fix it, and actually, no, I shouldn't say that. At the very start, I did want to fix it, and this was a couple of years ago. I was trying to fix it, and then when I get to a point when I was going to decide to say, hey, um, let's meet up and actually talk. But within 5 seconds, right when I decided that, right when I was about to text the person, tell them or her, this person messages me, tries to put me down, trying to make me feel smaller than I already am. And I'm not a tall guy. I'm not. But I do feel like I'm pretty I'm a tough guy. I do have my emotion sides, which every man has it. Don't let any man deceive you, ladies. Every man has a sensitive side. It just takes a lot to show it. Pretty much, I wanted to patch things up. This guy or girl would message me and say very nasty things to me. One of the things that this person said is the people around us didn't want to talk to me again because they saw that, or he told them that I was this, that, and all the negative stuff. Um, but I was always taught, and this was mostly by them or even by my own family, and even people who are actually detectives always get both sides of the stories before deciding on what you do. Now, these people never got my side. They already judged me on what this person said. Now, I don't care anymore about that. About they judged me and they decided not to talk to me. Even long before. Like, I would try to talk to certain people, they wouldn't talk to me. Like, I try to reach out as much as I can to other people, to a lot of other people, to try to keep in contact so I can have a relationship with them. But there were times when I try, and when I did try, the same people would say, um, hey, we can't talk right now, I'm a little bit busy. For the past 2 months this was going on, I just said, okay. And I said this to them. I said, okay, um, since you have been very busy, I will let you go and do whatever you need to do. Um, if you want to talk to me, I'm always here. I'm your family or friend. It doesn't matter who it was. All I'm saying is it's someone that I know or several other people. So I said that to them. They can get a hold of me at any time, any day. It doesn't matter what time or day. Weeks comes into weeks, months comes goes to months, or no, days goes into weeks, weeks goes into months, months goes into years, and I still haven't heard from them for years and years and years. And a lot of times, I never understood why. And then I kind of clued in. Um, with families, it's usually cousins and nephews and aunts don't get a hold of each other hardly at all. I would talk to one of my friends and I asked her, and she goes like this when I asked her, do you still talk to your cousins and your, all of them, to your cousins, aunts, and uncles? And she goes, no, I haven't talked to them within years. And even if I do, it's only, hey, how are you? Um, and stuff like that. They don't message really hardly at all, as she says. I'm going, okay. So it was normal for her, and she didn't pay no attention to it. She's still good with her family. Um, and she knows she still is because she asked, hey, are we still good? They all said yes. We're still good. When I tried one time, and I actually did try, I actually tried to say, hey, are we good? Hey, are we okay? I wouldn't get a response to my family or to friends who I thought they were closest family. Um, so I was a bit down about that. With the friends, I learned after I would say about 5 years ago that friends comes and goes, but true friends will always stay by you through thick and thin and no matter what. So then I started to look about the family or look at my family on both sides, both my mom and my dad, and there are certain family members on one of my sides that I never talk to, mostly because they are into something that I do not agree with, or they have done something to me and to my parents that I really don't agree with. So I stopped talking to them. They knew exactly where I was at that point, and they haven't talked to me for years. For the other side, there are some who first they didn't like me at all, even before they met me. And this was when I was a little kid, like when I was a really, really little kid. Like before I was in school. Before I was in school, a lot of them, um, some of them, not a lot of them, but some of them judged me. And this time of day, these type of days, there's a lot of people who judge. And I can say it's not cool. It is not good to judge people, especially before they even do anything. Like a lot of the family members always thought that I wasn't gonna amount to anything. And even when I went to even when I was about to go to university and I wanted to go to a certain class because I wanted to live out my dream. My dream was being a automotive artist, where I was gonna do some paint designs on people's cars. One person in the family said that that's not ideal. Have you ever heard of anybody in our area um, ever doing that kind of job? Right when I said no, I haven't. Then I was gonna say, but it's right when I said right when I was about to say, but it's my dream. Um, they they pretty much turned me down. Pretty much decided on my future, and to me, That's not right. See, if I ever have a kid and say he wants to, say if it's a guy or a girl, say if she wanted to be an automotive artist or she wanted to work on cars for a living, I'm not going to stop her. If it was a son of mine who wanted to go into fashion, to go into makeup or hair salon, I wouldn't stop him. I would say, go for it. Go for your dream. If that is your dream, go for it. My dream was being an automotive artist. I'm not that great of an artist, but I've been trying and I've been working at it all my life and I'm still working on it. I'm okay. I'm not like a graphic artist kind of stage, but I'm just like I'll draw it down on pen and paper, pencil and paper, and do it that way. I can definitely do that way. I'm a pretty good artist, and it felt that this family member who was telling me that I would not amount to anything if I pursued that, it hurt. It really hurt. But I'm learning now it doesn't matter what your friends or family says. If you have a dream, if you have a dream, go for it. Don't stop. Just get out of your comfort zone. Step out of the darkness of your doubtful mind and pursue it. Pursue your dreams. Don't let anyone decide what you can and can't do with your life. I did that and I wish I never did. I wish I stood up and said, no, this is my life. This isn't yours. This is my decision, not yours. Let me do my passions. If I fail, I fail. If I succeed, I succeed. But let me do it on my own. Now, I wish I actually did say those things to that person or people because it was more than one was telling me that I would not amount to anything. And it was very hurtful that I didn't go for it. And partially I wish I did. Pretty much, you guys, all I'm saying is go for your dreams. It doesn't matter if your family or friends say that you won't live up to it, you will not like it, or anything like that. I've had family members who tell me that I'm not going to be much good for anything. I'm just a loser. And before you guys ask, yes, I've had family members who actually have said that I was a loser. And also some friends. Heck, I've had friends who say that I will never ever learn to read or write. I'm getting better and better reading and writing every single day. because I'm trying to read a book every single day. It's an online book, but it's still a book. I'm still trying to learn. Nothing's gonna stop me to try to learn. Sure, it took many, many years to learn this lesson, but I am glad that I learned it, and I'm glad that I'm actually trying to pursue it, trying to pursue a lot of my dreams. When I was a little kid, one of the dreams that I had was to be a police officer. Another dream of mine was being a paramedic. Or not. Yeah, paramedic. Um, this was after I found out my dad was a paramedic. When I found that out, I wanted to go for that. But then I found out a couple of weeks later, or not a couple of weeks later, a few months later, I could not handle seeing too much gore. I would about to puke just about every single time. And that was just on the TV screen. And I've heard it's a lot worse in real life. Um, so I never did it because I knew I couldn't handle it. There are some people who say that they couldn't handle it either at the start, but then they could. That's awesome. That's awesome that you did that. Pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, just follow your dreams. Find out what your strengths, your weaknesses. My strengths, well, I don't know what my strengths are. I know my weaknesses. And my weaknesses never make you weak. Because if you try to overcome it, they're no longer your weakness, they're your strength. I was watching this show earlier today, and I was. I don't remember exactly what was said in the show, but all I know is one of the guys on that show was suffering with something in the past when he was a little kid. He overcome it, which that was awesome. That was amazing awesomeness. The other, uh, this this difficult thing was a certain disability. I don't remember the name by the top of my head, but this disability, um, mm, I'm trying to remember exactly what it's called. It's not called dementia, or is it dyslexic? That's what it was. It was dyslexic. Um, this guy, he said that he was suffering with it, but he learned how to overcome it, how to get past it. Yeah, he said it took years. And it doesn't take um, a day or 2 days or a week just to get over something. or to get past it. I shouldn't say get over it because even people who are still suffering with disability, hard to read, like difficulty reading, difficulty understanding emotions, difficulty um, anything, there will always be challenges. Those challenges will never stop. They will never stop. They'll keep going and they will keep happening and they will never ever stop. Those difficulties and us overcoming those difficulties, that's what makes us human. Now, there's some people out there who thinks that these difficulties you can never overcome. But I just was talking to one of my buddies, and he lost his arm on the line of duty. I am not going to say what kind of duty. I'm not going to say if it was construction, police, military. I'm not going to say exactly what. All I'm going to say is he lost his arm during uh, in a line of duty. Usually, a line of duty means doing a police, being police officer, fireman, uh, paramedic, or an army man. But that's not just what it all means. Line of duty means that you're doing something for the city or for the people or for your country. He was doing something for the people. So he lost his arm, but he overcome it. He is like he before he lost his arm, he loved rock climbing. Like he would done it. He would do it like every single day of the week to go rock climbing because it was his hobby. It was something that he needed to do because when he was a kid, he was terrified of heights. He was petrified of heights. In high school, um, he decided to pick up rock climbing. First month or so, he would never get on. He was just looking up at the other kids doing the rock climbing. He could not imagine himself doing that ever. Months have passed after those months. It took him about maybe 2, 3 months after um, the whole thing. He finally got the courage to actually get up and actually do it. It he actually did it. It was awesome. But when he lost his arm, he couldn't go rock climbing. Um, Friends and family, I never said it, but a lot of his friends and family, other friends and family, um, said that he can never do rock climbing ever again. He can never do it. Because how can he do it with just one arm? Now, I heard this story, and this story is pretty amazing. This story is about a young girl who got her arm uh, bitten off by a shark while she was surfing. You guys have probably heard the movies. I heard them on the movie. It was actually it was actually a true story, and it's actually very touching, and it actually teaches 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 a lesson in that, pretty much saying, hey, never give up, keep pushing, keep going for your dream, never stop, no matter what. When my friend, he's never watched that movie, but when he did, he he decided that, sorry that I was yawning. He decided that he wanted to do it. He wanted to try to be rock. He wanted to try to do rock climbing again. It took almost a year for him to learn how to do it. There were times when he was about to give up. Both me and his wife told him, never give up. Keep on doing it. Oh, hello. How's it going? You're doing a message. Sorry, I wasn't even looking at the message, at the not the message, at the chat. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is a lesson message. But we told him never to give up, and he did it. Pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to get at is try never to give up. Always try to push for it. Never stop. Because if you stop, you can't proceed your dreams. I've had a lot of people, or I've had some people come to me and ask me, um, what should I do? I can hardly do anything. And I said, what would you like to do? One of my buddies said that he would like to, um, pretty much work as a cashier. But he said that he couldn't because the first look or first glance he gets at him, they say, no, you can't work here. And this guy is in a wheelchair. He was in it when he was 19. He was drunk on his 19 when he was 19, and he got into a accident or car crash, because some police officers don't call it an accident anymore. Some of them just call it car crash, which I never got that, because it's technically is an accident, because I don't know, I don't even, I just I couldn't even understand it. But he he pretty much overcomes that, and he started to work at a Walmart because he knew right away that that manager looked at him right off the bat, looked at him and denied him. And he said it was against law to prosecute somebody who is a different nationality, disability, or anything like that, deny them any work, to give them a chance to work. Guy still denied him. He went to corporate and said, "Hey, your manager at such and such store said that I can't work, and I know why is because I'm in a wheelchair." About 3 days after that, that guy got fired right off the bat. Pretty much anyone could get a job, anyone could pursue their dreams. The only thing is what is stopping you? Sometimes it is your fears, your limitations. Me at this moment, I can't hardly do anything because of my limitations. Because there is a limitation that I have that I can't hardly do anything right now because of it. And one of the limitations that I have is that I get anxiety with a few things. And one of them is since COVID has started, is since we got to wear masks, because now it's policy in just about everything and everywhere to you where you have to wear a mask. Unlike in the States where you have a choice to actually wear it or not wear it. Here it's different. Here you don't have a choice. Here you actually have to wear it or you will get arrested. Pretty much. I get anxiety wearing a mask. I could never wear a mask when I was a little kid, and it was just because when I was young, I always wore a mask. I always get all those emotions back then would be coming, would be flowing back in. All those memories would be flowing back in. And this part's kind of stupid where, yes, in the States, you guys do have a choice. That is true. And right now, I wish both me and my fiance actually kind of lived in partial of the States, but partial, we actually do love it here. We love our country, we love where we live, um, mostly because we have family that we care about. Mostly it's her family. My family, a lot of them can just. Yeah, I'm not going to finish that sentence. All I could say is, yeah, you guys have a choice. We don't. Um, the government here, we never had freedom of speech. We could say something and we could offend one person and we could be thrown into jail because of that one thing. We could say, um, let's say, let's say I say to one of my family members, "Hey, you're a freaking effing moron," or something like, or say anything like that. I could been thrown into jail because of that, and it's not right. It's not right at all. In the States, you can, or well, you can if you wanted to, but there are some policies in stores. It's not law in the States to actually wear the mask. There are certain people who will say that it is law. It's actually not. I was actually asking one of my buddies, and he works for the government. I'm not gonna say what his name is or anything like that. All I can say is he he even says that if you don't want to wear a mask, you don't have to. But if it's the store policy to wear a mask, you have no choice. You have to. They will not serve you or give you your stuff. You gotta wear it. No, I am not in Korea. No. Do I sound Korean? Do I even look Korean? You can't see me now, but if you look at my past videos a couple of years about it, actually almost 2 years ago now, because I had the PlayStation 4 and I used the camera, um, I don't look Korean. And I would not go to Korea. Korea's nothing bad against Korean people or Chinese or Japanese. I don't see myself living in Korea or China. But like they have an amazing countries. They do. Now, Japan. Now that's a different story. That I will like if I had a choice, if I was given the opportunity right now to say, "Hey, would you like to move to Japan um free of charge?" I would be getting all my stuff packed and be going like, "When do we leave?" I love Japan. Like Japan is amazing. People there are so amazing. I met this Japanese couple there, and I still talk to them once in a blue moon. They've been a little bit busy with because of COVID and also because of schools because they're both teachers. They're amazing people. Like they're awesome. Um, they don't know English that well, but they have been trying for years just because they have met me and a few other people who live in North America, which is awesome. Oh, nice. That is awesome. You lived there for 3 years? That's awesome. I went there, if I can remember the exact dates I went there. I left from my home on the 14th of December of 2014. And I left there on December 30th. Um, Technically, no, it wasn't the 30th, so it was actually the 31st, but I came back because I left from Japan at midnight from Tokyo. Um, Actually, it wasn't even midnight, it was like 1 a.m. So I left from there at 1 a.m. I got back on the West Coast with 16 hours. I would say probably about, I don't know, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon when I got back on the West Coast. Um, I loved it there. Like the food, mwah, amazing. Um, the scenery, the culture, the old ruins. I went to see Osaka Castle when I was there. I loved Osaka Castle. I went there, I looked around, I didn't knew that I should not have taken any pictures or recorded anything. I never knew it was against the rules. Um, no one told me that, so I didn't get in trouble, which is pretty good. Um, the amazing part is when I did go to Osaka Castle, I went to something else that I did hear about that I so wanted to go check out. And this is when I was heading back to my buddy's place when he was living in Japan at the time. And this thing that um this one place, a lot of people who are big fans know these things because they have heard it online, they have heard the rumors, and some people actually doubt that this thing actually exists. It is actually true. It is amazing. When I went there, it was packed. I'm not talking about packed of people. I'm talking about packed of one thing and one thing only. And the store that it was called the Poke Center. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I'm going way off topic. We started talking about Japanese. First, we talked about the actual thing. Then we got sidetracked. Then we got sidetracked again. Then we got sidetracked again. We're getting sidetracked completely. Um, Pretty much the the whole thing is a lot of this stuff is annoying. Like getting back to where we were at talking about family and friends who are halting on your dreams. Don't let them halt on your dreams. If they don't like your passion, then they could shut it and walk away. Because one, it's not their choice. Two, it is not their life. The other thing that um, we were talking about as well was what? Oh yeah, that you have your passions. You can go for it. Even if you doubt it, or even if somebody else in your family, your friends, your spouse, your son, your daughter, anybody uh, doubts it, don't doubt it yourself. Because once you doubt it, you can never do it. Um, the masks, why we wear it, well, is to protect the germs of COVID to entering into your body. Um, there are two other spots that it can enter, but one of the spots it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do anything in there. It just stays in there and doesn't produce more into your body. And that's your ears. It will like say like a breath will go into your ear, but then it will just float away. It could get trapped in your earwax, but your earwax you clean your earwax pretty much every single day. Um, if you're getting sick, it probably is mostly because you're mostly maybe rubbing your eyes or scratching your nose or before you hand sanitize yourself. Because they even say when you're out and about. Uh, when you're wearing a mask, don't touch your eyes. Don't touch anywhere around your face. They say do not touch the T area. The T area is your ears, your eyes, your nose, and your mouth. At the start of it, never got that. I never get what that meant until, well, I never got what the T area meant until about 3 weeks later, until someone had to explain it. When they explained it, then I was like, a light bulb decided to click. I was like, oh, that's what it meant. So yeah, it's just for your protection and for the other people. Yes, you can still get sick, but it is less chance to get COVID. Um, like in Japan, um, and in China and in Korea, pretty much all throughout Asia, Asian people, country, um, all of Asian culture, they wear masks and they wear gloves when they're sick. Um, or even sometimes, even if they're not sick, they would still wear a mask. They would still wear gloves. And this was way before COVID. Way before. Years and years, years. This was like within like 60 or like in the 60s or in the 50s that they were wearing masks. Even I believe back in ancient Japan and ancient China, when warriors were wearing a mask that looks like a monstrous face, uh, I think it was just because they were protecting their comrades while they were fighting because they were fighting a cold. Um, they were probably doing that because of that, but also mostly probably just to look scary and frighten the enemy. Pretty much. The whole thing is pretty much is the masks and all that. It's essential to keep yourself healthy and keep the people around you healthy and not get the COVID or get these new variants. Um, I think we are sidetracked again. um, because then we started talking about masks. Um, yeah, because I was talking about that I get I get anxiety wearing a mask. And it's mostly because when I was a kid, I I had a hard time breathing. So I had to wear this ventilator, I believe it's called. Don't quote me on that because I don't remember exactly what it's called. All I know is I had to wear that um for the like say first 5 years of my life. And I hated it. It just made me terrified of the world. It made me terrified of everything else. About a year later, I saw a movie with one of my friends, and he was like 2 years younger. I think it was then, or was it? Yeah, he's 2 years younger than me. And Bud, if you're watching this later today, you know which movie it was. You maybe watched that. At the start, I didn't want to watch it. Then I was like, let's give it a try. The movie that I saw, and this what freaked me out of wearing masks. and I still have that little fear. And I'm a full grown man, and I still have this fear. That's sad. the the alien creatures, uh, the face, the face grabbers. Um, this it was on Aliens, and my friend showed me this movie. We watched it at his house, doing a sleepover that day, and we watched it. And this was like a year, 2, 3 years after I stopped wearing the mask, and then I just had that fear, and I still have that fear a little bit. Um, it's not controlling my life. I get an anxiety about it, and I was wondering exactly why I didn't knew what that feeling felt because I never felt anxiety throughout my whole entire. Wow, I couldn't say that because I did felt it, but I didn't understood it until I asked someone and they told me what it was. Then I pretty much, um, I pretty much every time I feel that, I know it's an anxiety attack. Like I feel anxiety wearing a mask. Now, there are some people out there who think anxiety doesn't exist. It actually does. It really does. A lot of times it is some of it is curable. It's actually not curable. It's more overcoming it. Um but there are part of it where you can't overcome it. You have to live with it. Yes, it is a major pain to live with it. And there are certain people, and these certain people, some of them are in the military, who get these anxiety. Um, Two of my buddies who were in the military, they they get anxiety attacks. They feel anxiety in public. They get anxiety with just about anything now, with military or with a lot of things. They just get so much anxiety, and part of me, I wish I can help them. Like I really wish I could, but there's nothing I can do. It's something they got to get over it. That is one of the things, yes, but it's not PTSD. It is it's that is more the extreme part of it. Um, let's just say anxiety is the start of PTSD. It's the start of it. Like, and then it goes into bit of the panic attacks, and then it goes into full blown PTSD. And once you get to the panic part, it's downhill to go straight to PTSD. It's not that far because PTSD and panic attacks are pretty much in the same category, pretty much. But um, I get anxiety attack. Like I get anxiety, and then if I'm not fiddling around with something, like I have to have something in my hands, and I know a lot of businesses out there, um, especially with my field, which is mostly customer service. They don't allow their workers to have um, anything at their cash register or anything like that to fiddle around to prevent them to have anxiety attacks, even with doctors' notes. Some of them, some employees don't believe in panic attacks or anxiety. Um, because when I start feeling having an anxiety attack, I I clench my fists with my thumbs at the knuckles of my pointer finger, and I will be moving them back and forth, back and forth. That's when I know I'm getting an anxiety. Like I'm getting really anxiety, and I feel like I'm going to be having an anxiety attack, and I feel it very strongly. About 5 minutes later, when I'm doing that, if I keep going but I never stop, I will start coming down a little bit. Just a little bit, but not that much. But if I had to stop, I would start getting very panicky. I would start having a hard time breathing. Um, and I would be freaking out. When I first noticed it, this was at the start of COVID, like the very start of it. And for the first 7 months, I was afraid to go out because of it, because I couldn't understand it for the first 2 months. And I was afraid to having that panic attack out in public. So I went out this first day. I went out to grab some supplies for dinner for the next couple of weeks because we were going in lockdown at the time. Right when I was in the store, I started to feel something. I didn't knew what it was. I was feeling anxiety, but I never knew what it was. I never knew what anxiety was fully. I started feeling anxiety, and then 2 minutes later, I started having a panic attack. I had to rush out of that store, go to the bench, sit down for about 5 minutes because I was having a hard time. I was having a real hard time breathing, and I didn't know how to cope with it. That's one of my weaknesses. And there are certain people out there who think that anxiety is bull. It doesn't exist. It actually does because one, um, anxiety has been proven by doctors, by psychiatrists, by so many other people within with probably for the past I don't know, since Vietnam battles. Ever since then, that's when people started noticing it. Um, so when they noticed it, that's when they put a name to it. And a lot of people on those times of days, a lot of people from then, and even some people now, still don't believe in it. Some people think that it's bupkis, that it doesn't exist. But it does. It really does exist. Um, you could say that it doesn't exist, but in papers, in medical records, and so many other things, it says it right there. It does exist. Um, that's one of the weaknesses I have about it, or two of the weaknesses, because I started having panic attacks. The other weakness is I'm claustrophobic. I get claustrophobic. Um, or I have claustrophobic syndrome. Um, and if some of you guys don't know what claustrophobic means, is you can't stand being in close areas or surrounded by so many people. Um, there was a concert that me and my buddies went to, and this is when I knew, and not just the concert. There was a couple of months later, months before, I went to a football game with him. This is when it first started, where I started getting claustrophobic. Um, after the game, me and my buddy went out, and we get swarmed by people. We got knocked down. I was yelling, "Please back up! Please leave me! Please back off!" Because everybody was getting too close, and I almost got stepped on 3 times. One time I actually did got stepped on, but it was just my hand. My hand wasn't hurt, wasn't broken. It just hurt for about 20 minutes. It was bruised later on that night, or it started to bruise. Um, I think that's when I started getting claustrophobic. It might have been a long before that. I'm not 100% sure. Um, but next thing I notice, this was with my ex. It wasn't with my buddy at that time. This was with my ex. Me and her went to a concert. I bought a ticket. She bought a ticket. Um, we both went to this concert. Um, and it was packed. And half the concert, I had to sit down because I was feeling something, and I didn't know what anxiety was then either. Like, this was before I found I was excited. Well, of course, it would have been way before. It was like, um, I would say about this. Holy sheesh! I just remember when it was. 13 years ago. It was 13 years ago when I went to this concert. Holy freaking fudge! I feel old, but I'm not old. um, 13 years. Wow. But yeah, that's and also there were some of the songs I didn't like, and I knew she liked. I let her dance around, stand up, have fun. Some of the songs I didn't like because the words that they used, what the songs meant, I didn't like it. She never knew what it meant until after I told her, because she was like, "What songs did you not like?" I was like, I told her the songs' names because I knew what they were called and I knew what they meant. And when she said, "Why didn't you like them?" Because and then I go like, "Because I know what they mean, and I just don't like the songs what they are saying." Um, some of you guys might like this band. Um, if you guys do, don't harp on me on this. This concert was Green Day. I like a lot of their songs. Knowing Your Enemy, I like that song. 21 Guns, I hear it way too much. um, for the first like 7 years, I turn on the radio and that's the first song that plays. It drove me nuts. Go in my buddy car, turn on the radio. 21 Guns is playing. It was driving me insane just hearing that song over and over and over. But yeah, I get claustrophobic, and I because there's too many people around, and since COVID, my claustrophobic is more increased. I get more. I get anxiety from when there's even a person not even 3 feet from me. Um, after I found out that about what anxiety felt like and what panic attack felt like, um, I went on the bus to go see my girl, right when I got on the bus on the next stop, I was heading to my girl's house, and I had to get off the bus because there was these groups of guys who sat all around me. And this was at the start of COVID. And I go like, "Hey guys, could you please sit somewhere else or stand somewhere else away from me, please?" They wouldn't. 2 minutes later, I started having a panic attack. I pulled the cord. I got off of that bus. I could not stay on that bus. I was having a panic attack. Um, I had to wait for the next one. The next one was like within 5 seconds because it was actually exactly right behind it. Well, almost. It felt like 5 seconds, but it was actually like a minute and 30 seconds, and it was completely empty. It only had like one or two people on it, which was awesome. That's less on my anxiety and less on my having a panic attack. Um, so there's that, and with the line of work that I like to do, and I do like it. I do like that me doing that, and um, earlier today I heard somebody was dissing it, and I was like, "Don't diss this store. This store is awesome. If you guys don't know what the store I'm talking about, it is Toys R Us. I enjoyed working at Toys R Us, working with my coworkers, then working with the customers. The customers were amazing. Sure, I had a couple of Karens, but who doesn't? You work in any uh any customer service, you're going to deal with carrots. Um, you're going to deal with them no matter what. So even then, even when me dealing with Karens, I still enjoyed it. Especially this one. This one was hilarious. Um, this lady come up to me, and she was a total Karen. Um, and I was serving a customer. I was I was ringing their stuff through, and they were like maybe 30 seconds later, they were about to pay. And she comes up behind me and she says, "Excuse me, I need to talk to you." And I'll be like, I'll be with you in a second. I'm with this customer. Yeah, I heard that. I think you guys have the website still up. I think the website's still there. Like they brought up the website about a year ago, a year or two ago. I think it was a year ago actually. Yeah, I think it was a year ago. Um, yeah, it was a year ago that you guys got the website back up. Um, that you guys could do shopping through that. You don't have the stores. There might be one or two stores in the country that is small, but the Toys R Us, um, where I'm at, um, I'm in Canada, so we still have Toys R Us here, which is awesome. Oh, they did? Oh wow. Um, but yeah, I worked at Toys R Us, and I was ringing this lady's stuff. This lady came up to me. She was total Karen. She tapped on my shoulder. She says, "I need to talk to you." And I said, "Give me about a minute. I will help you out after I run this person through." And she goes like, "No, you're gonna help me now. I'm a paying customer." I'm going like, "Lady, I'm dealing with this person," or I didn't say lady. I said miss. I'm dealing with this customer first. Let me finish with her, and you will have my full attention then. Okay? And she just sat there tapping her foot on the ground, clicking her fake nails on her phone. She was being very impatient. Not even 10 seconds later. Not even 10 seconds. She goes like, "You're very rude. I want to talk to your manager. And the person just finished paying. And I'm going like, here's your bag, miss. Have a wonderful day. I was like, okay, now I can help you. I'm so sorry I was dealing with a customer. She goes like, I don't give a effing, I don't give a effing C. Get your manager. I get my manager and I said, hey, this lady wants to talk to you. I was dealing with a customer. I couldn't help her at the time because I was running through this customer through the till. I wanted to get her through, and this and this lady was being impatient, asking for help, and I said I will deal with you. I will help you out in a sec. Let me run this person through. She just has to pay, and that's it, and that's all. My manager went up to her, and she goes like, "How may I help you?" She starts complaining about me, and she goes like, "Okay, excuse me. He's already told me exactly what was happening, what was fully happened. He said he will help you. He will help you now. That's it." She shut up. The Karen shut it. Yeah, a total Karen. Yeah, totally Karen. Um, so I helped her out. She was being all rude to me the whole entire time I was trying to help her out. And the funny thing is, what she wanted help with was to find out if there was a game still in the store that she was looking for. And it says at customer service, any games you are looking for, grab a ticket and bring it to our cashiers. She never grabbed the ticket. She never grabbed a ticket because at the where we sell our video games, we have these little slips that has the barcodes, so we can scan them, see what the game's name is, go up there, see if we still have it. If we still have it, grab it, scan it, sell it to the customer. This person decided not to do that at all. It even said on the board where the video games were. Um, it was just hilarious. It was stupid, but it was hilarious. But yeah, I can't work because of my anxiety with the masks, and then the anxiety with the claustrophobic. Both anxiety happening at the same time, I start having panic attacks. That's why at this moment I'm trying to do full time on YouTube. I am also going to be doing Twitch as well as some points. Um, I was actually thinking of doing Twitch full time and then using YouTube for the clips that I get when I'm doing um, Twitch. Like I'll save all the clips and re-edit it and then post it up on YouTube. I was thinking of doing that. Um, if my if OBS was working with my PlayStation, or I would say my computer was working with my PlayStation, but it's not. So I can't really do that at this moment until I get a new computer. So fun. uh, I I used to be at your point too. I didn't like TikTok either. Um, I actually started watching a couple of streamers who did TikTok, and then and these were streamers who also did Twitch. They were doing Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok all at the same time. They were doing the Twitch and YouTube on their computer, doing TikTok on their phone, doing all that. And I was like, wow, they're doing a lot all at once. That is insane. Um, and they weren't reading the comments as it is in the chat on the in the live chat. They weren't reading that. They were mostly reading the like the private messages or the messages in the Discord. Pretty much, you had to join the Discord, but you only get the Discord if you subscribed and all that. It was a bit it was a bit big headache. That would be a big headache for me, dear Lord. Well, there's more clips than that. Like, there's a lot more than just dancing. I actually just watched this video and I just sent it to this was like a week ago. I sent it to a TikToker, which she's a mom, and I have watched her, and she's awesome. She's a heavy rocker. She's loves Supernatural. She actually has the car, the actual model of the car that she's working on from Supernatural, and it's so awesome. I watch her because she's actually kind of funny. She's also fun. She's a mom. Um, and she's just pretty cool. And I sent her this video where this block of metal was red hot, dumped into a pool of cold water, and all you hear is sizzling from the metal into the water. It was awesome. Actually, it was definitely awesome. Hey, I can say a lot of TikTokers, especially some of the teenagers, or even not even teenagers, sometimes the young adults, are just into the dancing part. They just love doing the dancing parts. The TikTokers that I watch it's not about the TikTokers. It's not about the dancing people. I don't watch the dance part. When I see somebody dancing, I just scroll, scroll, scroll. When there's like somebody doing a cosplay of a scene of a show or a scene from a movie or a scene from a song, I will watch that because it's actually kind of cool to see how they cosplay it. Um, there was actually this young woman. She did a version of a boy version of Stitch and a girl version of Stitch doing the same scene from the TV series when the theme song when it goes aloha and then it starts doing that song. Um, so it was kind of cool to see the comparison how she did it. It looked really amazing, and some of her fans actually thought she copied it from somebody else. How did she copy it? She copied the exact same tattoo on her arms, the exact shape of her face, the shape of everything else of her. It was just, it was insane. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Well, uh, you take care. I'm glad you came and joined. Man, this got longer than I thought. Okay. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I can't work you guys. We definitely got sidetracked a lot today. Pretty much within the whole thing is getting anxiety and then having claustrophobic and then having an extra anxiety to it. It starts a panic attack of mine. That is my weakness. And I know it's my weakness and I know I can't work with under that condition because it is it is hard on my body. It is hard on my mental state that I have to deal with that. And me working and have to deal with that every day, all day long, would put like a panic attack. If some of you guys don't know, is makes you hard to breathe, makes your heart rate beat super fast, and I mean so fast that I've actually have heard of this happening, and it is scary, and I hate having panic attacks, and that's why I can't work. What I have heard is people having um, panic attacks, and it gets so bad that their hearts just stop. Like they have their heart just stops beating because their panic attack is so bad. Um, that terrifies me. That completely terrifies me. Um, and I'm not blaming anybody about my panic attacks or my anxiety. The anxiety and the panic attacks are is it's my thing. It's what I got to deal with. Um, it's what's wrong with me. Um, someone told me a little while ago as well. It said that they had an episode of something. I'm not going to say exactly what. Also, because I don't remember what it was again. Um, that they said it was that I caused it. The thing is, do you exactly know it was me? Or could it be that maybe partially I did trigger it by accident, but it was something more deeper that you were dealing with? Like, I've heard of somebody having a panic attack and they thought it was somebody else, but then later on, months later, they found out it was somebody else and it was something else as well. Part of it, it was they were having a panic attack and anxiety because they were holding a secret. And the secret was something about their lives that they didn't want anybody else to know. And it was building up so long. Like they were holding it for years and years and years. And this person's ex said something and it just triggered him. It just triggered him or her. Um, and she really thought it was him or it was her that triggered him. Okay, I'm just gonna say it's him because the male and female, of course, the ex is the girl, and him is well him. Um, pretty much, he he had a panic attack, and it wasn't because of her fault. They broke up because she thought it was her fault. Um, when it wasn't. It was something that he was dealing with for years, and he was beating himself for years. It was hard on him. It was harder than on him than he ever knew. Um, it's insane how hard it was on him, and he didn't realize until about 5, maybe 6 months later that it was a whole lot more bigger than it was just one person who triggered it. It's people who say it is just one person for having an episode of something and saying that theirs is worse than anybody else. I'm going to say this. If it's worse than anybody else, have you ever had doctors check every single person? And I'm talking about one doctor, comparison, or every single doctor in the world going to each person in the world who is dealing with the same thing, with the exact same thing, and measuring it. All of it. Has those doctors did that? No. because doctors don't compare um, their diagnosis. They don't compare other doctors' diagnosis. See, I can say that my disability, who is also another person who is famous, who has the same disability, I have it more severe than him because one, he's famous, he knows how to read and write and all that. He doesn't have that trouble of a learning gap than me. And you can compare it to that, but you cannot compare it to every other person in the world who is suffering it. Sure, you might have more meds. Sure, you might have um, other things. What about the meds part? The meds doesn't say that what you have is severe. See, my family's old doctor um, prescribed one of my family members, me, my mom, or my dad, I'm not going to say who, prescribed one of us with too much meds. Instead of trying to figure out exactly what's going on, this person just decided, hey, this is what this person has, and that's all it is. Um, a doctor said about my one of my shoulders is my left shoulder, or not my left, my right shoulder. Um, that I just had to stretch it out. That I had to exercise my shoulder to stop hurting. It's been almost 20 years since my shoulder hurting, and it has not stopped. It keeps hurting, and sometimes it gets worse. And I exercise my shoulder every single day, morning and night. I exercise 10 minutes when I wake up, 10 minutes before I go to bed, and that's it. And if doctor still says that, oh, I gotta exercise my shoulders still, I'm like, really? I've been exercising every single day for the past almost 20 years. And and every single one has told me that I need to freaking exercise it, which I've been doing every single day, and nothing has changed. It's got worse. Sorry, I went a little overboard there. Pretty much, with that situation, I have to go to a professional chiropractor to actually find out what is going on with my shoulder, which is fine. That's fine. I can't do anything about that. Um, the one thing, the other thing, mostly the whole story on this, you guys, the whole thing about this whole thing is some doctors, like about 90%, or not 90%, mostly about 15% of the doctors in the world know what the heck they're talking about. About 50% of those doctors only talk about what they know, and the rest of them, they're just guessing. They're just guessing. Um, one of my friends, he was suffering pain, and he he couldn't really hardly do anything. He went to doctors, and they said it will be fine. Just just go home, relax, and that's it. That's all you need to do. 15 years later, he's still in massive pain, and he's been to a lot of doctors, and they kept saying they gave him prescriptions and all that. Same thing that happened to one of my family members, me, my mom, my dad, either one, um, where they just put us on drugs, and so much drugs that it didn't need to be that much. And we finally did get a doctor a little while ago, and they cut the drug the mine, my mom, my dad, either one of us, our drug completely down, our medicated drugs completely down. They cut it, mostly all of it, except for maybe 4 or 5 of them, from 20 to 4 or 5. And now either one of us can have, we feel good. We feel better than we ever did before for that many years with that doctor. But pretty much, you can't compare on how your condition is. You cannot say it's worse than everybody else in the world. A soldier cannot compare his PTSD is worse than anybody else who has been dealing with PTSD. Cannot. They cannot compare. There's no way. The only one person in the whole entire universe would ever know if it's worse or it's just average or if it's just slightly higher. And that's God Himself. Sure, you can say that, yes, you're getting a lot of medication. Maybe some of that medication doesn't need to be needed. Overall, you guys, this whole entire lesson is go for your dreams, fight for your dreams. The other lesson is do not comparison your disability, your aches and pains, anything that you're dealing with. Do not comparison to other people because you don't know what other people are going through. Some disabilities you can't work. That I can understand. But there are some people who do have that disability who are working. Those people, they're dealing with a lot more because they got to deal with the public. They got to deal with work. They got to deal with their defaults. Technically, having a disability is not really a default. Disability is more of a stepping stone. Is more as how can I say it? More as a growth. See, I don't see my disability as a default. I see my disability as a stepping stone, a an obstacle that I got to overcome, that I have to overcome. Nobody else, because what I have is what I have. Other people may be dealing with the same thing, or maybe one of the things they are dealing with. But there are other parts of the disabilities that people, a lot of people, even medical people, never thought of, where people are dealing with these and it's different and everybody else. It's a lot different because they don't have to deal with different things or the same thing as you. Because there are certain people who are dealing with the same disability I have, same difficulties, where they have already overcome it, and they're a lot younger than me. They're a whole lot more younger, and they know more stuff than I do. They know how to read and write. They know how to um, show their emotions the way they need to. Stuff like that. Like, they know exactly what they're doing. With my disability, sometimes when I say something, like I will have a conversation with somebody and 5 minutes later I would forget it exactly. Like I'll forget everything. I've had poor memory. At some points I have poor memory, but there are certain things that I do remember completely. Some people say that is where you pick which things you want to remember. I see that as what I do remember is what I'm passionate about. Because there are certain conversations where I'm not passionate about it and I really don't want to talk about it and I really don't want to talk to that person. Or I just simply just don't want to remember. Because maybe I'm thinking of something else at that point and I don't want to remember that point. Like, I'll have a conversation with somebody. I would not remember it the next day, the next 5 minutes, or the next day and a half. I will play a game. Within 2 months of not playing the game, I would remember how to beat it completely because I've beaten it before. I would remember each and every single dang thing about it. I would remember all of it. And that is the weird part. That is so weird that I can remember every single thing about it. And I didn't even have to do a dang thing. Some people say that it is where you're picking which thing you want to remember. Some of the things that I try to remember, I even try to remember the conversations. I really try. But it's subconsciously where there are certain things that I do think about when I'm talking that I don't want to remember. The other part is my tone. I would be talking, and I would seem like I'm talking normal. But then all of a sudden, I would start sounding like I'm upset or angry or sad. Mostly because I might be thinking of something on my side of my mind, something that is, or is it emotional, and that tone of voice of that emotion that I'm feeling, that I'm thinking of, what that made me feel will come out. Pretty much that emotion, that part of me, I can't control that. That just comes out of the blue. Now there are certain people who say that they really can't control it, but I have seen them control it completely. And there's one person who said that they have no control over how they talk, their temper, all of that. If they can't control their temper, then cool off, try not to be angry, and try not to do anything like that. But if you can't control your tone and all that, but you have in the past where you've controlled it completely, where's that control now? You're just making an excuse for yourself because that's what you've heard in the past was to you, the person who diagnosed your disability or your mental state said. And you're just showing and saying exactly what that person said. Pretty much, don't assume on how bad your disability is or your um, pain or PDS. Don't assume what your rating is on it because that means absolutely nothing. That really doesn't. I could say that my disability is worse than everybody else's in the world. My opinion doesn't matter. Really doesn't. A doctor can say that a child with ADHD will never amount to nothing, will never be a doctor, will never be a police officer, will never be president. The thing is, there are a lot of people, actually quite a bit of people, who have ADHD who are in the police, uh, who are being police officers, who are being doctors. We haven't heard about if president having ADHD, or maybe we have already have. We have no idea they did because maybe there was a time when ADHD was never properly named. Maybe it was way before then. Who knows? Pretty much, you guys, you cannot comparison what you have saying it's worse than anybody else. You can say that. Your doctor can say that. They can, but it means absolutely nothing to the whole world. Because, one, a doctor could say that your disability, your heart condition, your whatever is worse than anybody else's in the world. But did they talk to every single doctor, showed each and every single one of them your medical history, and asked them for their opinion? I'm going to answer that no. Because I have never heard of any doctor who would go to every single clinic, every single hospital, every single chiropractor in the whole entire world and ask for their opinion. Not one. Not one will go to each and every single one of them and ask. So you don't have the right to say that your disability, your uh, or your heart condition, or your back pain, or your shoulder pain, your leg pain, anything like that, is worse than anybody else's in the world. There's no reason for that. And to the one person who said to me one time, saying that their medical bills with their meds are into the thousand, trust me, my mom, or my dad was dealing with that. It was improper diagnosis from the doctor we were dealing with. That was prescription. This is also what I have a problem with pronouncing words. Um, Pretty much giving us the wrong meds. They were giving us more meds, more of everything to try to fix it. Because some doctors out there think it is the drugs that helps. Some of them believe that sometimes, yes, the drugs could help, but the drugs are not the problem. Are not the problem. Is not the solution. Sometimes the drugs are the problem. Because you can give a person who has who are showing the signs of a heart condition, a certain heart medication, and it gets so much worse, they will start having they will start bleeding out of their nose or their eyes or their ears out of the blue because they're taking this medication that is for heart conditions, but it's not. It was incorrect diagnosis of that person, and they prescribed the wrong medication to that person at the same time without fully figuring out what the heck is going on. And a lot of doctors do that. About 99.9% of the doctors in the world, actually, strike that. At 99.9, 100% of the doctors have done that mistake. It takes a real doctor. I'm not saying all doctors are fake. It takes a really good doctor to actually go, okay, we need to figure out what this person is because they have learned that from their mistakes. They've done that mistake before, and they want to do better. So they look up everything. They do the scans. They do um, the measurements. They do everything. They do every single thing they can think of. If they can't do it, they go to somebody else who can figure out exactly what's going on. Um, so they show, or they do the work and they find out what it is, and they prescribed. I actually finally said it right that time. They prescribed the medication that they needed, and sometimes a lot of the uh, misdiagnosis and prescribed medication is sometimes always happens. I was watching this show a little while ago, Chicago Med, where this kid was, or not Chicago Meds, no, sorry, not Chicago Meds. No, 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 no. Actually, wait, was it? Actually, yes, it was. It was Chicago Meds. I was like, it was something else. It was Chicago Meds, and this kid was brought into the hospital because the mom was worried. The mom was hurt or something. I can't remember. All I know is kid came to the hospital with his mom, and the doctors noticed something that he wasn't fully there, and they found out what was happening in the school that this kid was in. He started a fight. He punched a kid. On the camera, it looked like he just punched him out of the blue, but it was never. The camera didn't catch what the kid said to the other kid. Pretty much, the kid was given a medication um, to calm his nerves, or not calm his nerves, to calm his temper, to mellow him out, to mellow his hyperness. Technically, it was mostly just to mellow his temperament. Thing is, or his outlashing. Thing is, the person who scribed it was the nurse, or not the nurse. It was the medical um, faculty of the school. It was a school nurse who was working for the school board said that this kid had to be on the medication or he was not allowed to be back at school. The doctors. Oh no, it wasn't Chicago Med. It was a different school. It was a different show. Now I'm actually remembering it. Um, I'm trying to remember the name, but I can't remember it. It is a good show. It was a hospital in New York, uh, near the UNMC. I'm trying to exactly remember what it was called, but I can't remember. So pretty much, um, that the two doctors, pretty much flushed him out of the drugs. Kids started showing emotions. They went to court in this hospital to file that to take off the kid off the medication. They actually took it off without the court knowledge, but when they told them that they did, the kid told them what the other kid said, and the nurse of that school and the whole faculty of of that court of that hospital court, their face went completely red. Well, not completely red, but it looked like if the whole room felt like it was red. Pretty much the kid said something about his dad who deceased. I can't remember exactly what, but it upset the kid, and that's why he got punched. Um, so pretty much, whole thing, follow your dreams. Um, Your disability is not stopping you to fill out your dreams, so don't let it. Even if you're in a wheelchair, even if you lost both of your legs, both of your arms, or even your hearing. I've heard people who is a police officer who are police officers who have hearing aids, and they still work. They're still being police officers, and that's awesome. That's their disability. Losing their hearing is their disability, but they're still overcoming it and still working. The other thing is, people should not compare their disability on how much drugs they get, how much drugs, uh, Medicaid meds they get from doctors, medicated drugs, or anything like that. They should not compare any of that. They should not compare how much they get from the doctors. Um, compare their um, disability or their whatever is wrong with them. Um, they cannot comparison saying that it's worse than anybody else. How can you ever know? Have you went to each every single doctor, showed them your medical, and asked their opinion? No. Do you compare every single other person in the whole entire world on their medical? I'm gonna say pretty much quarter of the world who are getting medicated, their meds are already covered. They don't check how much they cost. I know there's somebody who has a rich family or a rich uncle and aunt who pay off their nephew's medical bills. His or her meds cost into the thousands or tens of thousands. And it's mostly just to try to live out the day. Try to. It's weird. That's all I can say. It's I wouldn't say it's weird that they're paying for it. It's weird that people are trying to compare on their meds. There's certain meds that cost more than the rest because they're harder to make. Um, there's some meds that are very easy to make. You can't compare on how much meds you get. You cannot compare how much your medication costs. You can't compare. You really cannot. You really cannot. So, at that note, you guys, follow your dreams. Stop comparing saying your disability or your medical whatever um, on the cost of anything. Um, so don't compare that. And with your disability, your flaws of anything, they're not flaws or just they're not stopping you living your life. They're not stopping you living your dreams as well as the people in your life. Don't let that stop you. Keep going. Keep at it. Do not stop. Do not give up. If you want to be a doctor and you have a hard time looking at blood, overcome it. Overcome it and do it. Just do it. try to overcome it and go for it. Go for your dream. Do not stop. Because you will live out your life. If you think you cannot do it, you will go through your life thinking that you're a failure. But if you try and you still can't do it, and that's only because you keep going and keep going and keep going, and every single time, let's say you do it a million times trying to get over the sight of blood, and you still cannot get through it, then you cannot say you're a failure. You tried to live out your dream. But you can't go through the blood part. You still be a doctor, but you cannot go through the you cannot go through the hospital. You have to be like a family doctor or a clinic. You got to be that kind of doctor or a pharmacist. Either way, that's all you can do. At least you tried and tried and tried and tried and never gave up. Don't ever stop trying to do what you want to do. I've heard somebody said they try to be a game tester. Just because I introduced them to something and they just wanted to be a game tester. And I'm going to say this. Maybe try not to be a game tester. Maybe become a gamer YouTuber. A gamer Twitch streamer. Try that. Show them the guides through games. Not the online games. Show them the guides through the stories. The how to do certain things. Do all that. How to get trophies. Or achievements on Xbox as they call it. Either way, do it that way. That's another way to be a game tester. Test the game already been tested, but you're testing it out for yourself and for your viewers. That's what I do on Ark. Besides that, ladies and gentlemen, pretty much don't let your family stop you trying to, or your friends, don't let your family or friends stop you living out your dreams. And if your family and friends stop talking to you, so be it. It's just you, your spouse, and your kids, so be it. I've had somebody who I used to know that has never talked to the family. After 20 years, it's just him, his wife, and his two kids. They don't talk to their parents. They don't talk to their aunts, their uncles, their cousins, their grandparents. None of them because they're all toxic. So be it. But that is their decision. That's what they wanted to do. I have to go because it's actually 5:18 in the morning. I should go to bed because I got 5 hours to wake up. Dear freaking Lord. As I always say, you guys, game on, have fun with friends and family. Don't let your family control your life. Don't let your family choose your dreams. Always follow your dreams. Never stop it. Your dreams are never dumb. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Do not compare your medical history to everybody else's. And there is such thing as an anxiety attacks and panic attacks. Do not be afraid of it because everybody has it. It just depends on how much they get it. As always, game on, have fun with friends and family. I'll see you guys next time. I will be starting up on my full stream on Ark on Friday of the 21st. I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful night.